Ready? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our regular council meeting of Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. I'll now call the meeting to order. We acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Administrative and procedural issues, 2.1. Recommended motion is that the agenda be approved as presented. We have one addition for sure under 6.7. If you want to make an add there, the River Phillip Foundation request will slip in under 6.7. And is there anything else that you want to add, Mr. Hart?
I have nothing to add at this time, Your Worship.
Anyone else? Now I'll entertain the motion, please. Moved by Councilor Tully, seconded by Councilor Fromm. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much. 2.2, I'll direct your attention to the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. 2.3, approval of minutes. The recommended motion is the minutes of the April 27th, 2026 regular council meeting be approved. Moved by Councilor Lockhart, seconded by Deputy Mayor Gould. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? The motion is carried. Thank you very much. Business arising. The business arising is included in our package and will be reviewed by our CAO. Mr. Hart, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Business arising is at pages 12 and 13 of Council's agenda package. First, for the council meeting from April 27th, the most recent one. There are 14 actions. Most are complete. There are a couple that are still in progress. Demolition order for a property in River Hibbert, Kimberley Road. And a couple of the items related to the River Hibbert village rate are still in progress. I can say that the notice to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and the notice to the River Hibbert Village Commission, there have been verbal conversations, but the letters have not been sent. So that needs to be tidied up. Stop there and ask if there are any questions.
Seeing none, go ahead, sir.
The ongoing action list is at the bottom of page 13, and there are there are 4 items, 2 are complete and 2 are in progress. The 2 in progress relate to the designation of Swan Creek Protected Wilderness Area. We've been waiting for the Minister of the Environment to sign the final letter of designation. This has been outstanding for some time, and recently, just in the last couple of weeks, I've written directly to the deputy asking for it to be expedited, so we'll see what we get from that activity. And there are still just a few details on the conveyance of Lambs Hill Road to Mr. Meekins. Happy to answer any questions, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hart. Anyone have any questions on this report? Seeing none, we'll move along. 3, strategic priorities issues. There are none scheduled for today. Major organizational items, there are none for today. Organizational policy and bylaw items. 5.1, second reading of the bylaw to amend the sewer bylaw 26-04. Director Walcrest will lead us on this one. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's a memo in your package detailing the changes we had proposed to make to the public sewer bylaw. We were approached by Surrett Battery after their approval to operate their wastewater pretreatment was changed by Nova Scotia Environment and Climate Change. How they report their wastewater quality testing to us. We found that they're in general compliance, but routine the sulfate discharge criteria is above our current bylaws limit. We did some research. We found that the Canadian model bylaw has removed sulfates from the list of substances they suggest we ban. At very high levels, sulfates can potentially cause corrosion in concrete infrastructure under the correct conditions. We've not observed that this takes place in our systems, and kind of looking at the types of industry and users in our systems, we don't foresee the removal of that causing any adverse effects downstream. We are taking the opportunity to do a little bit of housekeeping within the bylaw as well. There are 2 forms that are Appendix B and C. These forms reference staff that are no longer with the municipality and don't reflect our current practice, so we're suggesting we remove those forms from the bylaw to handle that administratively, so the forms can be updated as staff change or a process changes. And there are, in your package, there are some billing items there that are clarified or just updated to our more current practices, and full details of what the bylaw and the bylaw, of course, are in your package. And any questions council may have, happy to answer them, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walkress. The recommended motion is the council approve second reading of the bylaw to amend the public sewers bylaw 26-04. Moved by Deputy Mayor Gould, seconded by Councillor Lee. Any comments or conversation on this item? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary minded? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Walkress. 5.2, second reading of the bylaw to amend the LUB 26-05 to rezone PID number 25157553 10260 Durham Street, Pugwash. Mr. Boone, our director, will take us on this one. Go ahead, Mr. Boone.
Thank you, Your Worship. We're on there.
32.
She's going to join me today because she's going to lead us through one of the files, so we'll both sit here to not create disruption. So this is the final stage on this application. Council has seen this on 2 other occasions. So this is the final step in the bylaw for this rezoning. The location in Pugwash on Durham Street at 10260 Durham Street. So just a quick overview, Your Worship. As I mentioned, Council's seen this before. Subject property is a former fire hall. So when the planning and the zoning and the designations were put in place on this property, it kept the institutional zone at the time when it was the fire hall. It's been used only as storage by the Village Commission prior to them selling it to Mr. Weir and his company. So the lot is currently undersized. The building is pretty much the footprint of the lot, so it's considered a non-conforming structure. And Durham Street is a highly utilized and commercial area where this property is and his intended use fits the intent. So it's to go from institutional zoning to commercial general. So a few pictures there, and that's in your report. I did fail to mention the report starts on page 19 of your package. So if anyone's following along, the package is at home. These proposals we talked in more detail during the public hearing. This is the concept of the building as it looks today and the future. The plan is to create a residential rental unit and a small commercial unit at the front. And the way the property would lay out, there would be 1 parking space at the front for the potential business use, which is a small unit, and the residential would be covered by a parking space inside. So we did talk a bit about parking when we were reviewing this, Kira and I, and we did have some comments internally about how this would lay out. The applicant, Mr. Weir, did have conversations with the Village Commission and did obtain in the letters in your package the opportunity, should there be an overflow or need for parking, that it could take place on the village lands, which are within the 300 meters as per the policy. We feel as staff that this site will take care of itself when it comes to parking. I know there was some conversations maybe with the co-op next door, but they didn't officially come forward and make any comments to us. But I know unofficially there's some conversations, and I think the fears with regards to overflow parking were quickly abated by them looking at the fact that parking for the residential rental units inside, and that there could be the 1 space for the potential service unit that would be in front. Again, this is just pictures for folks that may not have seen it before online. This is just giving some context of the neighborhood, fits the character. This is probably a property that should have been zoned general commercial during the last plan review, but it was just simply an oversight. And it was still a village building at the time, so institutional still fit, even though the future use of this was going to be likely commercial, as we're seeing, and residential above. Simply the map change, you can see everything around it. The institutional zone is going to be general commercial, so we're bringing it to the same and similar adjacent zoning, so it's pretty straightforward as far as us supporting this. And just to wrap it up, community engagement was held as per the Municipal Government Act. The public hearing is held on April 27th. It was all duly advertised per the MGA. We had no representatives from the public speak. And Mr. Weir was here to answer any questions, and there was nothing specific that staff didn't deal with directly. No environmental concerns, as we mentioned before. The property, although the coast is not far away with the harbor, it's above the 2.6 meter horizontal elevation that we look at. It's not within any shoreline buffers. The property is also serviced by sewer and water, so at the permitting stage, if there's any upgrades required, that would be the responsibility of the developer working with our Department of Public Works. Financial implications non-specific, although the redevelopment of the building will increase the taxation, and it should simulate local economy with some new business. The recommendation is before you, Worship. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boone. The recommended motion is that council approve second reading of the bylaw to amend the land use bylaw 26-05 to rezone PID 25157553 located at 10260 Durham Street, Pugwash, from institutional zone to the commercial general zone. If someone would like to make a motion, moved by Councilor Telling, second by Councilor Redmond. Any comments or questions on this? Saying none, call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much on that, Mr. Boone. 5.3, first reading, bylaw to amend the LUB 26-06 to rezone PID 25236910, 20 McFarland Street, Spring Hill. Go ahead, Mr. Boone.
I'm going to turn this one over to Kira, Your Worship.
Perfect.
Thank you. The application before you today is an application to rezone 20 McFarland Street in Spring Hill from the RLO zone to the multi-unit residential zone to allow for the development of 6 units on the property. For those following along in the council package, this report will start on page 32. So the subject lands that we're looking at, as I mentioned, is at 20 McFarland Street, Spring Hill. It's lower density zoned. The surrounding properties are also zoned a lower density residential. The property currently sits vacant, and the property owner is looking to develop the lands to create affordable housing for senior residents. The subject lands are located in a walkable area of Spring Hill. They're within close proximity to the main street, which has many of the community amenities for Spring Hill, such as the food land, the bank, post office, rec center, things like Tim Hortons and Subway. So the walkability and the proximity to Main Street lend to the location of this development, especially if the units would be marketed for senior residents, as there would be less barriers to accessing community services. An important note is that this is being marketed for senior residents. It is not a senior living community. That would imply allocation of community amenities like food services. This would just be residences. Instead, it's being more marketed and designed intentionally with senior residents and singles in mind. So the site plan, we have a proposed site plan and a concept floor plan. These are subject to change to align with building and fire code, but gives a general idea on what we're looking at in terms of unit layouts. It would be 2 triplexes, which would total in 6 units. Each unit would be a walkout design, and there would be ground level decks on both the front and the back side of each unit. There would be enclosed communal garbage facility and a utility shed that would service each complex, so each triplex. The utilities shed would be outside of the unit, so you wouldn't have to access the units to access that utility shed. And there's parking spots. There's the 1 parking spot per stall. Typically, the requirement would be 1 parking spot for each unit, +1. But this wouldn't really be a huge concern because that additional 1 is intended to be accommodating an accessible spot. And so all of these parking spots are designed to meet accessibility standards. They would have the requirement of 1 being officially designated accessible, but the other spots would easily be able to be designated accessible at a future date if it's needed. As well as if they needed an additional spot, they have 2 vehicles for a unit, they would be able to paint a line and just split it down the center. The buildings themselves, it aligns well with the community character of the land. There are a multi-unit residence in the area and within walking distance, and the buildings in general are fairly larger in scale, so the 2 triplexes would not be out of character for the neighborhood. So we can see this would be the general zoning. As I mentioned, it's very much a lower density residential, but there is a multi-unit in the area, as well as it is fairly close to some more commercial uses, and as I mentioned, Main Street, which is the big commercial street for people. Should council approve this, here, we'd be looking to schedule a public meeting on the matter. The public hearing would be advertised in accordance with the MGA. We would be placing notices on the municipal website at least 2 weeks prior to the scheduled hearing date. Furthermore, we always publish an ad in a locally circulating newspaper, and we post a planning notice sign on the actual subject property. There are no environmental considerations or concerns at this time. The property would be required to connect to municipal system for water and sewer. The owner is responsible for entering into that agreement and arranging connections themselves, and the enforcement of this, as in we would ensure that they've done that at the permitting stage. For financial implications, there'd be no costs associated with this proposal, but the redevelopment of the property would result in a property reassessment. And then further to those tax implications, by creating housing that's specifically designed for seniors and singles or even empty nesters, this allows people to downsize from a larger multi-bedroom home to a smaller to a smaller unit or a smaller place, which then re-puts that house back into the housing stock and just creates more diversity in housing supply in Spring Hill in general. So that is all. The recommendation is before you, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Kira. The recommended motion is that council approve first reading of the bylaw to amend the land use bylaw 26-06 to rezone PID 2523-6910 located at 20 McFarland Street, Spring Hill, from lower density residential zone to the multi-unit residential zone, and to schedule a public hearing. Somebody like to make the motion? Moved by Councillor Lockhart, seconded by Councillor Lee. Any comments or discussion on this? Go ahead, Councillor Lockhart.
Yes, Kira, you're a good sales lady. We're sold. No, that's a nice property. It's been vacant for a long time, and I think this will be a really big asset to that area. And just to mention, we are paving the other end of that street this year, so very happy for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lockhart. Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much, Kira. 5.4 is the first reading, the bylaw to amend the LUB 26-07 to rezone portion of PIDs 25137878 and 25137852, Highway 2, Southampton. Mr. Boone?
Yes, thank you, Worship. I'm going to take this one back because I was the one out and then fought the black flies instead of when Kira was spending time working towards her certification towards planning. So this is the method to her madness. Your Worship, this is a rezoning that's probably the result of maybe not as an intense land inventory when we do our plan reviews. So I'm going to qualify this as that we have to go through the rezoning for the project to work that the applicants brought forward. And but this is an opportunity to not wait for the plan review to adjust the zoning, and this allows them to get forward on their project. So the project is a rezoning from country residential to the country commercial zone. So give you a little bit of context here. This is in the village core in Southampton. It's not far from the post office. Station Road is a gravel road that's not super well traveled. It almost serves as the driveway into this property and into the development that we're going to speak of. The property in question, owned by the Siddles, and they operate Siddle Cattle Company, and I'm sure a lot of folks see their trucks on the road, and they're very busy organization and provide a lot of service. This structure that they're looking to rezone so they can re-establish the butcher shop and the abattoir that was originally on this property. It just had not been in active use for the last number of years. So therefore, it couldn't be considered what we call a non-conforming use, which means that the use could just start up again because it had been closed for a number of years. Under the Municipal Government Act and our own land use bylaws, if the operation has ceased for more than a year, it can't get the support of what the non-conforming and existing non-conforming uses would provide. So it's an existing building that provided the service in the past. They're going to look to do some upgrades to bring both the butcher shop and the abattoir is essentially where you hold the cattle for processing. So a butcher shop can be in the back of a grocery store, but to hold the cattle for processing or any livestock, you have to have that component of the abattoir. So that's why it seems a little bit odd that we can't just allow a butcher shop in the country. So this is the reasoning behind it. The country residential zone was developed as a way to work around some of the core areas that have that that rural feel, but also maybe not fully agricultural. So you can still do agricultural things on a country residential, there's just some more limitations. So the reason we're looking at only rezoning a portion of the PID, I'll show you in the PID map here shortly, but it will make sense is that we keep the residential component, which faces Highway 2, is residential, and that we look at establishing the zone around the two parts of the two properties where the operation would actually take place. So that was a mouthful. So this will give you an idea on site. When I was on site, you can see that Station Road, which the access to this building blends into. It's fairly isolated. There's not a lot of homes that you can see from where the business was established previously. The building itself, you can see when you go inside, there's still equipment from when it was a butcher shop. So it's pretty obvious that this operation was in existence in the past. The cooler room's still there, just needs a new compressor and some upgrades. And the area to hold the cattle, the abattoir part of the operation is still physically there at the back of the property, or back of the building, I should say. So there's plenty of land in the area where they can hold cattle, and also where the processing can take place. Cattle is the main focus, that's why I keep using the word, but it could be other animals processed here as well. So in the zoning map, you can see to the left, everything that's in green is country residential. Just up beyond that, there's some other farm operations, but everything that leads to the river was zoned country residential in the village. Anything on the other side of the river is all agricultural land. So the majority of this area certainly has an agricultural feel, and agricultural presence exists quite strongly. You will note that just down below, just off the map, that's where the post office is. So a country commercial zone exists where the post office is in the village core. The reason we're creating the zoning on two parcels is the smaller parcel you can see to the bottom, on the bottom right photo, is a separate PID. And it does include the driveway and the access to the building. So we wanted to have all components of the business zoned appropriately. In order to make this work, we'd have to do some text amendments. So as you will see in the report in your package, abattoir is being added as a permitted use because it's not currently there in the zone. But we're also going to limit within the zone, and the new designation, or sorry, the new section, 11.5.6, is to limit the number of animals that could be on site for processing at the same time. And this actually aligns with the number, excuse me, Your Worship, with the number of animals that you could have in a country residential zone. So we're not really expanding the number of animals, units that could be held on the site. We're just making it specific that it's as part of an operation of the butcher shop. So in implications, community engagement, if council gives it first reading, we'll align a public hearing in association with the MGA. We'll follow all our process for the proper advertising. Under environment, CURE's done some research on this as well, but abattoirs are considered designations under the Environment Act, so there's some things that they have to get approved by Nova Scotia Environment Climate Change. The applicants are already aware of that. It just makes sure that the septic system that's for the house and for the washroom at the facility are not the same where some of the byproduct from the process might go. And there's requirements for regular upkeep to those tanks and whatnot. No direct financial implications, Your Worship, other than getting a business reestablished. It'll bring us some commercial tax base around, plus it obviously provides the service. So the recommendations before you, and I'll answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boone. The recommended motion is that council approve first reading of bylaw to amend the LUB 26-07 to rezone a portion of PIDs 25137878 and 25137852 from country residential zone to country commercial zone, add abattoir as a permitted use in the country commercial zone, add a special requirement limiting the scale of abattoir permitted and requiring the use to be accessory to a butcher shop. and to schedule a public hearing on the above matter. Moved by Counselor Lee, seconded by Counselor Strong. Any comments or questions on this from anyone? Go ahead, Counselor Lee.
Your worship, thank you. Just a curious question. I know you may have alluded to it. The 10 animals, how did that come about, please? Thank you. Your worship.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Your Worship, back to Councillor Lee. In the country residential zone, you can have 10 animal units per the bylaw in the same zone. So we're trying to align the two because of its connection to, in a lot of cases, these country commercial zones tend to be within the country residential areas like the village centers. So that was the method behind our thought to align the two zones. Same number of animal units could be on that zone today the way it is. So if that makes sense?
Your worship, yes.
Thank you very much, Counselor Lee.
Thank you.
Anyone else? One quick question on that. 10 animal units for the public that are watching this. Could you explain that, Mr. Boone?
I can. So a head of cattle is 1 unit. A horse is 1 unit. And I would always do what good development officers and planners do, is open your land use bylaw, which I don't have in front of me. But usually swine or hogs would probably be 2 would be 1. Does that make sense? Yeah. See, that's why she's here.
And chickens?
Chickens is a lot. 20 chickens equals 1 unit, and that's probably something we're looking at through the plan review, because that is a lot of chickens for 1 unit. So.
Yeah. Just the curiosity was
Yeah.
that most people would not understand what we were trying to do there and how we were doing it. And
No, it's a good question,
The other
Your
thing
Worship.
is that it wouldn't be economically viable to be butchering 10 chickens at a time or a few of the smaller units in groups of 10 when, it's obviously not
Yeah.
the way
So
to
you-
do things. So.
Thank you, Your Worship, and it was a great question, not just because you're Your Worship, but it was a great question. For the information of council and those that may be watching, the Siddles were saying they're looking at 6 or 7 head when they're doing cattle at a time. We did the 10 to give them room for growth. So, and it aligns with the policy per Councillor Lee's question.
And I do agree that it's a much-needed service. Most of any of the others around the country are at maximum capacity, as we all know, so.
Yep.
So it's a much-needed thing, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded. Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Boone. And 5.5, the Scott Lockhart pole banner policy amendment. Ally McCormick is going to lead us through this. Welcome, Ally.
Thank you, Your Worship. At the April 27th council meeting, council directed staff to review the pole banner policy, specifically relating to the pole banner capacity in Spring Hill, and draft a report with recommendations to the May Committee of the Whole meeting. The report was presented to council at last week's Committee of the Whole meeting, and council directed staff to amend the pole banner policy to increase the banner limits in Spring Hill from 140 to 169. Including your package, you'll find the amended pole banner policy, and happy to answer any questions from council.
Thank you very much, Ally. The recommended motion is that council approve the amended pole banner policy 25-04. If somebody'd like to make the motion, moved by Councillor Lockhart, seconded by Councillor Strong. Any comments or questions on this? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Business issues, 6.1, Accessibility Advisory Committee appointments. Mr. McCracken will lead us on this one. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Accessibility Advisory Committee terms of reference requires that the council appoint committee members. As discussed in a previous meeting, we've advertised and received a number of expressions of interest from community members to sit on our advisory committee, which meets quarterly and provides advice to council on accessibility issues that affect programs, services, and initiatives and facilities in the municipality. There's a list of nominees in your package: Christy Blackie, Dave McEwen, Amanda Purdy, Helen Sims, Samantha Heffernan, Paul Williams, and Melissa Thompson. Their biographies or their submissions were discussed in more detail at an earlier date. So I won't go through those. And once appointed, committee members will be notified, and we'll initiate a committee meeting. There's a recommended motion in your package for consideration, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCracken. The recommended motion is the council approve the appointments of Christy Blocky, Dave McEwen, Amanda Purdy, Helen Sims, Samantha Heffernan, Paul Williams, and Melissa Thompson as members of the Accessibility Advisory Committee. Somebody like to make that motion? Moved by Deputy Mayor Gould, seconded by Councilor O'Telling. Any comments or questions from anyone on this? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. 6.2, Equity and Diversity Advisory Committee appointments. Mr. McCracken.
Thank you again, Your Worship. Similarly to the Accessibility Advisory Committee, we have an Equity and Diversity Committee, and terms of reference states that council will appoint committee members. The Advisory Committee's main role is to monitor implementation of the Equity and Diversity Plan and contribute to the annual report on progress and advise council on the creation of a refreshed plan in 2028. Again, we did a call for expression of interest. A number of names were brought forward. We discussed those in detail at our earlier meeting. So I won't go into a lot of the background, but Michelle Parsons, Rachel Smith, Kamari Giles, Amanda Mullen, and Chris Reed have been brought forward as recommended committee members. And again, once appointed, the committee members will be notified and will initiate a next meeting. And there's a recommended motion in your package, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCracken. Recommended motion is the council approve the appointments of Michelle Parsons, Rachel Smith, Kamari Giles, Amanda Mullen, and Chris Reed as members of the Equity and Diversity Advisory Committee. Moved by Councilor O'Telling, seconded by Councilor Fromm. Any comments or questions on this? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much. 6.3, Grants Program 2026-2027. Mr. McCracken, you have the floor again.
Thank you, Your Worship. The municipality grants funding, as you know, to community organizations annually. Council must approve grants in three particular categories: large capital, small capital, and large operations and maintenance. The municipality provides funding across a number of categories, and this year in those three categories there's recommendations totaling $534,995. The municipality received approximately $1.4 million in requests for financial assistance overall, and this exceeds the overall budget. In these three categories alone, requests totaled over $1 million. The $534,995 is already included in the operating budget, and once approved, applicants will be notified by letter, and we'll be doing some check presentations in the county in June as well. And there's a recommended motion in your package.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCracken. The recommended motion is the council approve the recommendation to approve the large capital, small capital, and large operations and maintenance grants totaling $534,995 for the 2026-2027 fiscal year as detailed in the attached list. If somebody would like to make the motion. Moved by Councilor Strong, seconded by Councilor Lee. Any comments or discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much, Mr. McCracken. 6.4, appointment of building official and fire inspector. Mr. Boone will lead us through this. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Worship. The report and the recommendation is in your package starting at page 74. This is an official requirement when we appoint building officials. So as I mentioned in our departmental update last week at the Committee of the Whole, Tanya Mills has completed her training as a residential inspector, which includes the required field inspections under the supervision and support of qualified and certified building officials. So all of that work has been done. Tanya's been with us just over 3 years, and started in our permits inspection group and has recently completed her training. So we also want to appoint her as a fire inspector at the same time, because our building officials are also our fire inspectors. And that is the recommendation is in your package, Your Worship. Happy to answer any questions, but her certification document is at the end of the package. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boone. The recommended motion is the council appoint Tanya Mills as a building official and fire inspector for the municipality of the County of Cumberland. Somebody like to make the motion? Moved by Deputy Mayor Gould, seconded by Councilor Redmond. Any comments or discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Boone, and welcome aboard, Tanya. 6.5, food trucks. Councillor Lockhart. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. I know we brought this up before, kind of going at it a little different. I've been contacted in the last couple months by multiple, we have 5 eating establishments left in Spring Hill, and I was contacted by 3, and very concerned about the food trucks. So did a little consultation with some people, and they employ probably 50 to 60 people between them, and pay a lot of tax, a lot of commercial tax. And plus, most of the people that work live in Spring Hill or surrounding areas. And I totally understand, that some places, especially in the rural areas, don't have the same access to restaurants for festivals and other occasions, or in Pugwash when it's super busy and the population doubles. So what I want to do is just to have a once-a-year permit fee put in place, or get the staff to explore that for Spring Hill only. And I believe I talked to the CAO, and we can do that. And again, people enjoy trying different things. We only have this certain restaurants, but those restaurants, and I had a really nice picture, but it never got in the package, of the Subway giving away a gift certificate, which they do a lot at the teen center, or any hockey team or anything is always sponsored, or snowmobile rally. It's always a business, one of the few businesses that sponsor it. So I'd like council to consider putting a motion forward, or put the motion forward for staff to look into this, to see what Amherst does, some other municipalities, and see if we can come up with a nominal fee. At least they're paying something towards doing business in Spring Hill. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lockhart. The recommended motion is that council direct staff to provide a report including a jurisdictional scan and recommendations regarding permitting and fees for mobile vendors / food trucks operating within the former town of Spring Hill. Somebody like to make that motion? Moved by Councillor Lockhart. Seconder for the motion, Councillor Redmond. Anyone want to have anything to say on this or chime in? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary minded? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much, Mr. Councillor Lockhart. 6.6, surplus Spring Hill school sites. Mr. Harrod, you're finally arriving at this.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Just to Councillor Lockhart, we couldn't fit the picture in because we spent so much of the ink that we have on certificates last week that we weren't able to print the pictures. So I apologize for that. Good for Gregory, yeah, exactly. Seriously though. So this is about the former elementary schools in Spring Hill, and just general interest. Just a little bit of an emotional topic for me, and Councillor Lockhart as well. In the fall of 1966, I began to attend elementary school at the West End Memorial School in Spring Hill, and so that's how old it is, and that's how badly it needed to be replaced, and thankfully it has been replaced. Pardon? Almost like me.
Sounds
That's
like you.
exactly right. That's right. All good things must come to an end. But you know what? Both of our kids attended West End, and I was president of the home and school when they were there. We were able to get the pedway from the 2 schools, and so to see it finally kind of go is kind of sad in a way. Anyway, the topic before council is surplus schools in Spring Hill, the West End Memorial School out on McGee Street, and the Junction Road School, obviously on Junction Road. Although the municipality, through its the dissolution of the former town of Spring Hill, does hold title to these properties, an MOU between the NSFM and the province of Nova Scotia signed a couple of years ago with respect to pre-1981 schools. Means that the municipality need not take the responsibility for those schools. Previous to that MOU, the schools were tagged with the responsibility. The way the MOU and the legislation reads now, the municipalities have right of first refusal on the sale of the schools once they've been declared surplus by the province. That has happened, and they have notified us. Council did have a conversation about this in camera because it relates to municipal property, as it is certainly authorized to do so. We've had a conversation at the management level about use of those properties or potential municipal uses of those properties, and at this point in time have identified that there are none of any interest to the municipality. So the motion before council is that council direct the CAO to advise the province of Nova Scotia the municipality has no interest in acquiring the former schools, West End Memorial and Junction Road Elementary School properties in Spring Hill. Your Worship, I'm happy to answer any questions. There are some other alternatives that are identified in the request for decision, but those are not recommended at this time. Happy to speak about any of that.
Well, you've heard the recommended motion, so we have a mover for that, please. Moved by Councilor Lockhart, seconded by Councilor Strong. Any comments or discussion on this motion? Councilor Lockhart, go ahead.
Yeah, Greg and I walk to school almost every day, rain, snow, or sleet. But anyway.
Uphill too, 5 miles,
Uphill,
right?
the snowbanks were at the top. Anyway, I'm glad this is happening because I honestly, since I got elected councilor, I've had a lot of calls and people have a lot of, especially the Junction Road one, which it was put there, probably in the 80s, I believe. Yeah. So more so than the West End one, which is in pretty bad shape. It wasn't a new school when we went there, Greg. So anyway, I'm very happy this is going forward in Spring Hill. They're both great, in great locations, great properties. Hopefully they get repurposed sooner than later. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilor Lockhart. Anyone else have any comments on this? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much. 6.7, request from the River Phillip Foundation. Mr. McCracken, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. We recently received a request from the River Phillip Foundation regarding a donation to the Spring Hill Baptist Church. Is in regard to a donation that the foundation wants to provide the church, amount of $180,000 to help with the affordable housing project in Spring Hill. The municipality has been an intermediary for these types of donations in the past, where we receive the donations, issue receipts to the donors, and disperse the funds to the requested recipient. Disbursement is contingent on council approval, and that's why it's here today. There's a recommended motion in your package, and happy to take any questions, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCracken. The recommended motion is that council approve the request for the municipality to receive $180,000 from the River Phillip Foundation and disperse the funds to the Spring Hill Baptist Church. Does somebody like to make the motion? Moved by Councilor Lockhart, seconded by Councilor Hotelling. Any comments or discussion on this? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you very much. 7.1, information items. We have some councilor recognitions to do. 7.11, Councilor Hotelling, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. This evening, I'd like to recognize Shelley Casey, who owns Seashell Beachwear on Water Street in the village of Pugwash. She is not only a successful small business, but also helps out with local community events such as the Christmas dinner and the Kate Sexton Scholarship Fundraiser, which is an evening of fashion, fun, and togetherness to celebrate the life of a beautiful young lady gone far too soon. This special night will take place at the Northumberland Curling Club in Pugwash on June 18th, and will feature 7 fabulous ladies and 3 handsome gentlemen modeling a variety of stunning outfits and accessories from her store. From style and elegance to confidence and community, it promises to be a memorable evening filled with love, laughter, and support. This marks Shelley's 3rd year being part of this meaningful event, and she is truly honored to once again work alongside Elizabeth Smith McCrossan and her incredible crew. Their dedication and heart continues to make this night so special year after year. So she invites us all to come out, show our support, and help them celebrate a beautiful life through fashion, friendship, and community. And I also have a special birthday celebration to add. Winnie Emily May Wright was born on May 26, 1919. And she is now a resident at East Cumberland Lodge, where she celebrated her 107th birthday yesterday. And by the way, she looks amazing. So congratulations, Winnie, and I hope you had a lovely birthday.
Wow, thank you very much, Councilor Hotelling. Councilor Redmond.
As you know, our volunteer firefighters are valued and should be valued along with their families. I'd like to recognize a fallen fighter, Alex Wikita, a 40-year-old volunteer with the Bridgetown Fire Department. I'd like to encourage everyone for the next couple of weeks to buy the 50/50 tickets for the Bridgetown Volunteer Fire Department. And I spoke with Chief Randy Sheridan, and he is very thankful that we would do this. They are having an upcoming meeting, and he's going to encourage this for his area as well. Monies raised during this time will go to Alex's family, wife and 3 children. Sometimes the little things we can do in life can turn out to be the biggest things to many. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Redmond. I'll go ahead, Deputy Mayor Gould.
Thank you, Your Worship. I had a couple of things I must have sent it in too late. I didn't make the program here. But Dougie Bacon is a former. Well, he's a farmer here. He's called farmer. Everybody knows him by farmer. He's a dairy farmer, and it's a well-known family, and he's been involved in a lot of things in our community, and he just celebrated his 80th birthday, so I'd like to wish him a happy birthday, and yes, Scott, I did give him a certificate. And I happened to notice on Facebook today, and I'm not on Facebook very often, but we had a little time between meetings, and his daughter, Patricia, is 50. And that scares me, because I'm going to date myself, because I coached her 3 years of high school basketball, so the fact that she's 50, I'm 52. And the last thing I want to mention is student athletes. And I'm a big advocate of student athletes, and this is a big time of year, not because it's the end of the school year, but there's 2 main events athletically in school sport, and one is track and field with provincials, regionals getting completed, and provincials coming in a week and a half's time, and the other one is softball. And their provincials are, I believe, this weekend. I'm looking at you, Jen, because I know your daughter's playing this week. You're playing on the team. So yeah, I just wish we have a lot of teams in the county, and I just wish them all the best and enjoy their time playing sports. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Gould. Last night, go ahead. Councillor Lockhart, take it.
Yes, and again, I missed the program too. It was late finding out about this, but I'd like to wish Brian and Joan Fuller a happy 58th wedding anniversary. Celebrated, I think it was yesterday, so.
Awesome. Thank you very
Wish
much.
them a
Congratulations to them. Last night I had the opportunity to attend the AGM of the Tidnish Crossroads Community Association, whereby a lifetime volunteer award was presented to Jack Brown of Tidnish. And for those of you that perhaps don't know Jack, he was responsible and the chairperson of the Swinging Bridge build in Tidnish last year, and has been I think they said last night he'd been there since they built the building in Tidnish. I almost believed him, he's been around so long. But last night he retired from the board and was a recipient of this outstanding award. And I'd like to congratulate Jack and say thank you to him for all the service he has done for the community of Tidnish over the years. And last but not least, Blair Andres retired as the chair, who had taken over from me when I was there last night, and I'd like to thank Blair for his many years of service to the TCCA. It was in great hands when Blair was there, for sure. So, and looking forward to the next chapter, which involved 5 new people from the community, all below the age of 50, I believe. So it's nice to see a lot of young people taking an interest in the Tidnish community. 5 new board members last night, and they're very enthusiastic, and I really do look forward to working with them and seeing what they can accomplish too. So thank you very much.
I believe that you're missing somebody in the awards of Tidnish. I believe you received an award. If you'd like to explain that award, please. It was well deserved.
Same thing. Jack and I were honored together. I didn't want to take any of Jack's thunder. Jack was a great friend and a great volunteer, and I was honored with him last night as a lifetime volunteer, and my name is on the wall. And I have a nice plaque to display in my office, and I am certainly thankful for the award and thankful for all the years and all the memories that I made in Tidnish, and I'm looking forward to being back there at some point in the future, making more memories and doing lots of fun things. So thank you very much, Kathy.
airports, is it?
Probably in the middle. Motion to adjourn, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Gould, we are now adjourned.